We are starting session number E, problems of logistics and transport infrastructure. Please, for all presenters to keep the time, 10 minutes for presentation and for discussion. First presentation, it will be an online presentation. Irina Paites, air connectivity between Australia and New Caledonia. Do you hear me?
Yes, hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. If you can see your presentation, please say when you want to the next slide. Please start the presentation.
Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Irina and I'm Senior Lecturer at Aviation at RMIT University in Australia. And today I would like to present my presentations about air connectivity between Australia and New Caledonia. Please, next slide. This is a topic related to the air connectivity between Australia and New Caledonia, but it's also part of some logistics. What is actually main research background for this analysis? We started to analyze the air connectivity between Australia and South Pacific Islands. In South Pacific Islands, we have about 15 islands, like New Caledonia, Vanuatu, Tonga, Bora Bora, Tahiti, the Cook Islands. They have a huge problem with air connectivity. And what is the main problem? That all these countries, there are 15 countries, they have a very low number of population. For example, for the country, the Cook Islands, their population's just 7,000 in all country, whole population, and they have 5 main islands. And for them, it's required to have a proper air connectivity between all 5 their islands, and also connectivity between Australia, Singapore, and other lands, because it's related to their medical, new medical opportunities, also development of tourism. For example, they have just 1 flight per week. It's connection between Australia and Cook Islands via New Zealand. It's not direct flight. And most of these countries from South Pacific Islands, they have own airlines. For example, in this case that I analyze, New Caledonia is island in South Pacific region. As you can see, it's not quite small island, but also New Caledonia has really small, not really, but quite small population, and it's about 300,000. They have own airlines, for example, Cook Islands, Tonga, Vanuatu, they have own airlines and have a high level of safety for these airline operations, all standards. It's quite hard for them. That's why they have associations and they try to investigate how they can increase air connectivity between Australia and all these islands. In particular, for this research, I present some results related to the air connectivity between Australia and New Caledonia. New Caledonia, it's French island. Most of the population there speaking French. And they visit Australia quite often. They have the operation between 2 airlines. It's Air Calin between New Caledonia, it's their national carrier, and Qantas from Australia. Please, next slide. For this research, we analyze literature review, different academic articles related to the air connectivity and economical development, because all these islands they would like to develop their economy and level of tourism. Next, it's also tourism in aviation connectivity, also aviation in small islands, economies, all regional regional islands. Also airline competition and market concentration. And of course, impact aviation, impact the COVID pandemic on aviation industry, particularly in this region, because at this time they didn't have flights. When it was a COVID, and it was the islands being there when fully isolated from all the world. Also this research, it's part of research when we are doing for Qantas Airways. Qantas, as Australian carrier, operates to these islands. Most of these destinations are not profitable for Qantas Airways, because of load factor, sometimes it's just 36%. It's very small. All these markets, its connectivity between Australia and South Pacific Islands, they realize niche strategy. And Qantas interested, maybe it's better Jetstar will be operated from Australia to South Pacific Islands. As Qantas Group, they have Qantas International and Jetstar as their low-cost airlines. We identified some research gaps. We tried to analyze the passenger traffic, the structure of passenger traffic, the tourism or its business, or its visit relatives and friends. Also, we analyzed the level of airlines competition and market concentration, and also the problem with air connectivity between Australia and New Caledonia. Next slide. Yes, for this research, we use 4 different types of methodology. First, we analyze route performance. We use some key performance indicators to analyze the level of performance. Next, also, we identify correlation between passenger traffic and revenue for airlines, and identify the regression model. Also, we used Herfindahl-Hirschman index in order to analyze the level of concentration, and we also analyzed post-pandemic recovery, this air connectivity, using also some indexes. We use data period from 2017 to 2024, and of course we analyzed just 2 airlines at Air Calin and Qantas International that operate on these destinations. And we use data from different global database and different financial airline annual reports. Please, next slide. Next slide illustrates the route performance analysis between Australia and New Caledonia. As you can see, the total line passenger traffic between Australia and New Caledonia quite low, especially COVID significantly impact on their air connectivity. And here in this slide, you can see some airline passenger traffic between Sydney and Namur, their capital. Actually, Qantas operates between just 2 destinations in Australia to Namur. It's Sydney to Namur and in Brisbane to Namur. It's operated, I mentioned it, Air Calin, Qantas, and Air Caribbean's it's airlines from Caribbean side to the other side, from Caribbean islands. They also operated sometimes to Caribbeans. It's also was some French people who traveled from Bora Bora or French Polynesia to New Caledonia. Both these islands, French-speaking countries. Please, next slide. Yes, in this slide, we presented the airline passenger traffic between Brisbane and Namur. It's for analyzing period. You can see it's similar situation that was in the destination between Melbourne and Namur. Also, in this situation, Air Calin operates or transfer more passenger traffic compared with Qantas. Actually, this destination, it's not really interesting for Qantas because it's not profitable. Load factor quite small. It's very niche market, but they try to understand why it's this so low passenger traffic. Air Calin also operates between Melbourne and Namur, but passenger traffic is very low because, as you can see, it's air passenger traffic. Was quite small, just about 11,000 people per year. It's quite small. Please, next slide. Next slide presents the revenue for both airlines for this air connectivity. As we can see, these destinations, they have some revenue on these destinations because of price. The very low level competition and the price between air connectivity between Australia and New Caledonia, the price for tickets quite high. That's why it's not attractive market for Australians who would like to travel to New Caledonia. For example, if you compare the ticket price for economy class between Brisbane and Numa, the price will be about $1,000, and price for similar air connectivity between Australia and Fiji will be about $300. That's why this land is not so attractive for Australians who would like to travel to New Caledonia for tourism. Yes, please, next slide. Also, we analyze the share of market between two airlines, as we can see for destination for Air Calin. They operate in three destinations, but 55% of their traffic they traveling to the Sydney, and most of them they travel overseas. For example, they travel to Singapore, they travel to Europe via Sydney. It means most of the passenger traffic from New Caledonia travel to Sydney and then any other destination, because Sydney is international big hub. And also Qantas. Also here I presented some share of markets. Okay, next slide, because I'm very running with my time. Next slide's correlation analysis. Here we identified the high level correlation between passenger traffic and revenue. Please, next slide. I think it's last slide. Yes, and here's some future air connectivity strategies for Qantas Airways, how they can increase air connectivity. First, we analyze all three destinations and identified the Sydney is the largest route for both airlines, and Brisbane is the second, and Melbourne is third. And also we identified the future connectivity strategies. First, they need to increase the passenger demand. Actually, it really depends on the government in New Caledonia, and improving service frequency, how often these flights, strength, of course, tourism, cooperation, and also diversing airline participation is collaboration between airlines, sign different code-share agreements, and of course reducing dependence on a limited number of routes and operations. Thank you so much for your time, and I finish my presentation.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. I'm sorry we have some delays, so we haven't time for discussion. Next presentation, it will be Natalia Wojnar, Jacek Strojny, conceptual framework for the post-war reconstruction of Ukraine's transport infrastructure.
Добрый день, уважаемые господа. Я хочу искренне поблагодарить организаторов замечательной конференции, профессора Александра Сладкowskiego, его замечательную команду. Вот, пожелать вам всех благ, и чтобы было больше таких еще конференций, и искренне рада, что познакомилась с замечательными людьми, как сегодня приехали на конференцию. И хочу еще поблагодарить народ Польши, потому что столько тепла и столько поддержки, сколько получили первые дни войны женщины с детьми, которые вынуждены были бежать в неизвестность. Это просто было страшно, и спасибо огромное Польше, людям, народу. Вот. И я считаю, что та поддержка, те открытые сердца, дома, которые нас пустили, это без всяких условий, без всяких предубеждений. Я считаю, что именно народ Польши и бизнес Польши должен быть первый в рядах восстановления Украины, потому что у нас просто другого варианта нету, как вместе идти дальше по жизни дружно. И хочу представить доклад на тему концептуальной основы послевоенного восстановления транспортной инфраструктуры Украины. Сейчас в Украине, вы знаете, идет страшная бессмысленная война, где уничтожается все, что только может. Уничтожаются города, села, и в том числе все, что производит, работает на экономику, в том числе транспортная инфраструктура. По оценкам Мирового банка вместе с Организацией Объединенных Наций, украинским правительством были проведены оценки убытков, и только по состоянию на декабрь 2025 года общий ущерб оценивается в $195,1 миллиарда США. И причем больше всего пострадали это жилищный транспортный и энергетический секторы. Социально-экономические потери выросли до 666,7 миллиардов долларов США, и, разумеется, что с каждым днем эти потери растут. На слайде вы видите потери потребности финансирования восстановления разных секторов экономики, и на данном слайде представлены потери именно в транспортной инфраструктуре. Пострадали практически все секторы, и наиболее пострадал автомобильный транспорт, автомобильные дороги, потому что это тот вид транспорта, который мобильный, быстрый, оружие доставляются автомобильным транспортом, вывозятся раненые, цивильные люди эвакуируются, все автомобильным транспортом. Сильно пострадала также украинская корпорация железных дорог, называется Укрзалізниця. Разрушены не только фронтовые объекты, но и глубоко в тылу. И часто бывают такие ситуации, когда за одну ночь одновременно происходят бомбежки объектов стратегических в разных городах, причем глубоко в тылу. Было рассмотрено, каким образом можно было бы восстанавливать транспортную инфраструктуру. Разумеется, что есть объекты, которые полностью уничтожены, и в таких местах, куда люди уже не вернутся, и есть объекты, где есть еще перспектива. И, соответственно, восстанавливать это надо еще в том виде, чтобы было лучше, чем было. На сегодняшний день мы разработали такой подход, который позволяет комплексно проанализировать наличие дефицита и целесообразность восстановления объектов, и на каком уровне будет приниматься решение о восстановлении этих объектов. То ли это будет, если полностью разрушено и нет смысла восстанавливать, разумеется, инвестиции туда не будут складываться, но если объект на территории, который имеет потенциал развития, есть возможности привлечения капитала, в первую очередь бюджетных ресурсов, то, разумеется, эти объекты будут восстанавливаться. Было также рассмотрена приоритетность восстановления объектов транспортной инфраструктуры. Рассматривались такие критерии, как региональное значение и значение для местной территориальной общины. В первую очередь приоритет дается тем объектам, которые находятся близко транспортных международных магистралей. Вы знаете, 4 транспортных международных коридора проходят территорию Украины из 7. И разумеется, что по этим коридорам будут идти большие транспортные потоки, будут много быстрее развиваться эти территории, и близлежащие населенные пункты должны туда отбиваться и развиваться в первую очередь там эти объекты. Была разработана система критериев, которые разделены на таких 2 группы. Это социально-экологический аспект оценивания влияния проекта и социально-экономический аспект. Рассматривались и влияние транспорта на экологию, и обеспечение доступности транспорта. Вы знаете, что после войны сейчас очень много людей, к сожалению, потеряли свое здоровье. Многие ребята, которые были на войне, из-за тех бомб фосфорических просто потеряли зрение, и это люди, которые уже приходят в новые специальности по памяти. Они учат то, что те же не становятся программистами, не становятся информатиками, по кибербезопасности занимаются, переучиваются. Это все только по памяти. Много людей просто остались без рук, без ног, к сожалению, тоже надо их переучивать. И в первую очередь государство должно думать о том, чтобы были доступны все возможности коммуникации для таких людей, чтобы они могли общаться, чтобы они могли выходить на работу, развиваться, доступ до больниц и так далее. Вот эти все аспекты, они обязательно учитываются в приоритетности наших проектов, то есть в отборе проектов для восстановления того или иного объекта. Была разработана математическая модель, достаточно простая, линейное программирование, когда мы выбираем наилучшие проекты, которые обеспечивают лучше, чем оценивается лучше. Тот проект, который набрал большее количество баллов по аспектам оценивания, по 22 критерия частичных, те проекты будут в первую очередь реализованы на региональном уровне и на уровне местной территориальной общины. И, естественно, есть ограничения по финансированию. Не может быть сумма финансирования регионального проекта регионального значения и местных территориальных объектов больше, чем и существующие средства финансирования. И переключается. И, естественно, бюджетных средств никогда не будет хватать, в любой стране не хватает средств бюджетных для восстановления и поддержания инфраструктуры. Для этого сейчас очень популярный такой инструмент – это публично-приватное партнерство. И разумеется, что на таких территориях приватный инвестор не зайдет, потому что это не будут те инвестиции, которые обеспечат ему возврат инвестиций. И на таких территориях будут только бюджетные деньги государства, региона, местных территориальных общин, а те объекты, которые находятся близко к международным транспортным коридорам, которые находятся в больших мегаполисах, они должны развиваться именно на основе публично-приватного партнерства. Это даст возможность освободить эти деньги для восстановления таких территорий. Так, и сейчас. Есть. И было разработано дерево принятия решений, каким образом отбирать проекты и принимать решения, каким способом будут реализованы эти проекты. То ли это проекты, которые обеспечивают стабильный возврат инвестиций, тогда можно привлечь приватных инвесторов. Если такая ситуация не существует, нереально, но проект имеет социальное значение, экономическое значение, значит, должен реализовываться за счет государственных денег и денег, привлеченных международных финансовых институций. И если не имеет значения такой проект, ни социального, ни экономического, разумеется, что не стоит его вообще реализовать. Ну и в итоге, в принципе, мы предложили такой общий подход, который позволяет на уровне государства, органов власти, центрального, регионального и местного органа управления принимать решения по оценке целесообразности реализации того или иного проекта, по оценке целесообразности реализации проекта на основе публично-приватного партнерства и, соответственно, оценивать важность проекта для поддержки и развития того или иного проекта. В общем, спасибо вам большое за внимание, и я очень надеюсь, что мы все будем восстанавливать скорее в быстрое время, и чтобы это поскорее всего закончилось, это страшная бессмысленная война, и чтобы все уже только ездили друг к другу, радовались, встречали друг друга, обнимали. Думаю, только
Спасибо большое за ваше выступление. Есть вопросы? Я не слышу. У меня есть вопрос. Буквально вчера, позавчера, работается международная конференция помощи Украине. Вот как вы думаете, это же не обязательно деньги должны быть возвратные, это может быть помощь международных организаций, безвозмездные гранты, которые дадут Украине, и мы твердо убеждены, что так и должно быть. Как вот в вашей работе об этом вы думали?
Дело в том, что уже на сегодняшний день очень много получила Украина от денег международных. И есть резерв возврата денег, есть такая возможность. Я думаю, что первое, кто должен идти в Украину на проектах с возвратом, это должна быть Польша. Потому что сколько денег, сколько и такой поддержки, как Польша, ну, никто, извините меня, это мое мнение. В общем-то, да. И это была, понимаете, поддержка, они не смотрели в первые дни, откуда мы идем, какие мы идем. Мы стояли там сутками в тех очередях, на тех пропусках, понимаете, нас брали, холод, зима, это То, что я говорю, я низкий поклон до конца жизни, я буду благодарить русский народ. И поэтому нет, я считаю, что тут есть нюансы, которые есть, можно реализовать на основе бюджетирования, на основе, если будет такая помощь финансовая, например, за счет тех активов российских, которые разморожены, не вопрос. Но если заходит бизнес, он должен быть бизнесом, он должен знать, за что работать.
Спасибо. Спасибо.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Next presentation, the group of authors, analysis of relative indicators of freight road transport in Lithuania and Poland in the context of the European Union. I think it will be the online presentation.
Yes, it's online. Good morning.
Do you see the presentation?
Yep, I
Please
do.
say when you will go next slide. Please start
Yeah.
with the presentation.
So first of all, let me say thank you to the organizers of the conference for letting us be present while being in Vilnius. And you already have said the title, so without further ado, let us dwell into the presentation itself. So let's go to the aim and the objectives of the study. And as our aim was to analyze the position of Lithuanian and Polish road freight transport in the EU. And the objectives were to compare transport sector indicators, evaluate transport fleet efficiency, and also analyze freight transport structure and scale, and especially in light of the different size of Poland and Lithuania. As you know, Lithuania is 62,000 square kilometers, while Poland is way bigger. Okay, let's go to the next slide, and that's research methodology. So as our methods, we used 4 relative indicator analysis. We also used comparative analysis, statistical analysis, and of course, Eurostat database analysis, and also an Engel coefficient. And let's go to look at the following slide. And here we have basically the aspects, indicators of, not indicators, sorry, aspects that our research focused on. So it was employment, so road transport companies and people working, also in both countries, road infrastructure network. For that, we used Engel's formula. And also, we looked at freight undertakings and freight volumes, and of course, fleet of vehicles, vehicle fleet in both countries. The next slide will show us road transport companies in the European Union, Lithuania, and in Poland. So let's look at that. And it's much more interesting, maybe because it already touches upon the results. And results here show that the share of the population employed in the transport sector in Lithuania is, well, almost 3 times higher than the EU average and more than twice as high as in Poland. This result suggests that the Lithuanian economy and labor markets are significantly more dependent on the performance of the transport sector and on changes in international logistics market. So as you see, we are in the middle. So a lot of difference. And the next slide will present the results of analysis in road freight transport economic entities in the 3 areas. So we have the years between 2021 and 2024. And again, Lithuania somehow outstands here. And this demonstrates that the road freight transport sector in Lithuania is exceptionally highly developed and relatively much more important to the economy than the EU average. Lithuania's indicator exceeded the EU average by more than 3.5 times, while Poland's exceeded it by approximately 1.4 times. Now, let's go to the road network in Lithuania and in Poland. And as I mentioned before, for that, we used Engel's formula. And the Engel formula was applied to assess the road networks of Lithuania and Poland based on statistical indicators at the beginning of each year. The study examined paved roads according to Eurostat data from 2020 to 2024. And it was found that the average Engel coefficient for Lithuania was, 65 almost, while that for Poland was 93.13. So it was on average, Polish coefficient was about 1.5 times higher than Lithuanian. So which indicates better development of the road network and greater infrastructure accessibility for residents. Next slides will present information on structure of road freight transport in Lithuania and in Poland in 2024. And in both pie charts, we've got the biggest yellow part, which consists of commercial vehicles up to 3.4 tons. So those are smaller and more tended to be used in, domestic market. Not necessarily, but the tendency is such. So, however, in Poland, it's more than a half. Of all road vehicles. In Lithuania is less than a third, but it's still major share. So when this indicates that the Lithuanian transport sector is more strongly oriented towards heavy international freight transport because it has much more even distribution between those vehicles up to 3.5 tons, which tend to be used locally, and the heavy-duty vehicles. So, and in Poland, another half is very even, which could be indication of stable activities in transportation field. Let's move to road freight transport vehicles. Now, we will not dwell here very long, but in the number of heavy-duty freight transport vehicles in Poland was almost 3 times higher than the European Union average and 1.1 times higher than the indicator in Lithuania, which confirms Poland's exceptionally strong position in the EU road transport market. The next slide shows number of road tractors per 10,000 inhabitants. So again, here we have Lithuania overtaking the leading position here. So it also corroborates the fact that Lithuanian transporters tend to be operating in long distances more than in local. I'm trying to save time. I don't see the time limit I have. Okay, next slide is focused on registered electric powered road tractors. So here I can only say that in all respects, electric road tractors remain below 1% in absolutely all EU countries. And for that, I have Germany added here, which is also 0.380 in 2024. As concerns Lithuania, we appeared only in 2023 here. So we are basically just babies in European electric powered family. Poland is also not a very heavy user of this type of vehicles, so diesel still dominates freight transport fleet in the EU. So, indicators now, analysis of indicators, and here we have total.
I'm sorry, please skip to the conclusion because we are out of time.
Okay, so to conclude, we found that relative indicators enable objective international comparison despite the size of the countries, the population. Lithuania and Poland also significantly exceed EU averages in freight activity. And also it was found that Lithuanian transport sector is strongly export oriented, and transport remains strategically important for both economies, Polish and Lithuanian. So that would be it. I'm sorry for exceeding the time limit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we haven't time for the discussion, so thank you very much. Next presentation will be Leszek Bielinko, Mobility, Integration, Asymmetry, the gap between strategy planning and investment practice in the Polish. Here is present for you, please.
Dzień dobry Państwu. Chciałbym przedstawić wyniki badania, które pokazują, czy deklarowane w strategiach, politykach miejskich ambitne projekty mobilnościowe, integracyjne są rzeczywiście finansowane. W tym kontekście proponuję w swoim artykule także pojęcie asymetrii integralności mobilnościowej. W ostatnich latach wiele miast Unii Europejskiej przygotowuje plany zrównoważonej mobilności miejskiej, z angielskiego Sustainable Urban Mobility Plan. Plany te promują ambitne rozwiązania integrujące różne środki transportu i cyfrowe rozwiązania mobilnościowe. Pytanie brzmi, czy te świetne pomysły rzeczywiście odnajdują się później w planach budżetowych. W artykule proponuję pojęcie asymetrii integracji mobilnościowej. To pojęcie oznacza rozbieżność pomiędzy tym, co miasta deklarują w swoich politykach, a tym, na co rzeczywiście wydają swoje pieniądze. Ten problem rozpatruję w trzech płaszczyznach: w płaszczyźnie finansowej, czasowej i w perspektywie przestrzennej. Celem badania było sprawdzenie, jak wygląda to przejście od kart polityk czy strategii do planów wydatkowania pieniędzy. Zakładam, że największe, środki przeznaczane są na tradycyjne, klasyczne rozwiązania transportowe, a projekty integracyjne odkładane są najczęściej na czas późniejszy. Sprawdzam również, czy znaczenie ma to, w jaki sposób wygląda organizacja i zarządzanie samym miastem i czy ta organizacja ma wpływ na sposób, w jaki ta integracja postępuje. Badanie objęło 6 polskich miast i obszarów funkcjonalnych. Porównałem zapisy z dokumentów SUMP, Sustainable Urban Mobility Plans, z wieloletnimi planami finansowymi z ostatnich 5 i następnych 10 lat. Dzięki temu można było rzeczywiście sprawdzić, czy te plany zgadzają się z wydatkami, które na ich podstawie są później realizowane. Wszystkie projekty, które znajdują się w ramach SUMP-ów, a także odnajdują się później w tych planach finansowych, podzieliłem na 3 kategorie. Są to projekty wewnątrzmodalne, intermodalne i systemowe. Następnie zastosowałem 3 wskaźniki, które pozwalają określić skalę wdrożenia, poziom odroczenia finansowania oraz stopień asymetrii inwestycyjnej. Te wskaźniki stanowiły później podstawę dalszej analizy. Wyniki pokazują bardzo duże różnice między poszczególnymi miastami. Wrocław tutaj reprezentuje klasyczny model finansowania tradycyjnych projektów transportowych, natomiast obszar funkcjonalny Zielona Góra, Nowa Sól wydaje się być po zupełnie innej stronie sposobu myślenia o integracji. Analiza pozwoliła wyróżnić, wskazać 4 modele prowadzenia polityki mobilności. Nie wszystkie miasta zachowują się w ten sam sposób, to jest zupełnie naturalne. No właśnie ta typologia jest jednym z głównych efektów badań i rezultatów całego tego poszukiwania. Tutaj pojawia się bardzo ciekawy problem, tak zwana finansowa prokrastynacja. W wielu miastach projekty wpisywane są rzeczywiście do polityk czy strategii mobilnościowych, jednak ich realizacja najczęściej jest przesuwana w czasie, czasem na 3, czasem na 5 lat. Oznacza to, że część inwestycji rzeczywiście gdzieś tam funkcjonuje prawie wyłącznie na papierze. Wyniki sugerują 3 główne przyczyny tego zjawiska. Są to najczęściej skomplikowane i bardzo podzielone struktury odpowiedzialności w ramach aglomeracji czy samych miast za decyzje transportowe. To jest przywiązanie do tradycyjnych sposobów inwestowania w szeroko pojęty transport, a także preferowanie projektów dobrze widocznych politycznie. W efekcie łatwiej rozwijać i inwestować w projekty punktowe o bardzo dużych rozmiarach niż rozproszone i mało widoczne projekty integracyjne. Wyniki prowadzą do kilku praktycznych rekomendacji. Po pierwsze, węzły transportowe powinny być projektowane i realizowane wraz z infrastrukturą dojazdową. Po drugie, warto regularnie, co nie zawsze się zdarza, kontrolować plany, strategie inwestycyjne z założeniami budżetowymi. I po trzecie, to także wynika z tych badań i poszukiwań, większego wsparcia finansowego wymagają tak zwane cyfrowe projekty mobilnościowe, w tym MAS, Mobility as a Service, ITS i systemy integrujące systemy biletowe. O, w ten sposób. Przechodzę już do wniosków. Badanie pokazuje, że sama obecność projektów mobilnościowych w dokumentach, w strategiach, politykach miejskich nie gwarantuje ich realizacji. O rzeczywistych priorytetach miast najlepiej świadczą właśnie ich budżety i decyzje finansowe. Dlatego najważniejsze w tym kontekście pytanie brzmi nie, czy miasta umieszczają te projekty mobilnościowe, integracyjne w swoich politykach, ale czy znajdują pieniądze na ich sfinansowanie. Dziękuję bardzo. Chętnie odpowiem na Państwa pytania.
Thank you for very interesting presentations. Unfortunately, we are still a few minutes delay, so we haven't time for the discussion. And next presentation will be Tomasz Iwan, road transport of dangerous goods in statistical terms, classic and hybrid treatments.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Tomasz Iwan, I represent the Polish Air Force University, and the topic of my presentation is road transport of dangerous goods in statistical terms, classic and hybrid threats. According to ADR agreement, there are 13 classes of dangerous goods, which are materials, substances, and subjects, which due to the physical and chemical properties in transport can cause extensive damages and human losses, material damages to means of transport, and also infrastructure facilities and environmental pollution. As I said before, there are 13 classes, but I distinguished two classes, class number 2 and class number 3, gases and flammable liquids, which are the most common on the road. Of course, each class has graphical warning stickers related to the dominant hazard and also related to secondary additional hazard. Whole security management in dangerous good transport is composed from 4 areas. Firstly, prevention. Secondly, preparation, I mean training, mainly training of drivers. Neutralization, reaction on the spot of the accidents, and also reconstruction. So general rule in case of dangerous good transport is to minimize the probability of negative event occurring in transport, or at least in case its occurrence, reducing catastrophic consequences. In case of road accidents, these substances, these materials can cause secondary destructive properties of the load, can be involved, of course. There are 3 categories nowadays of threats in dangerous goods transport. Firstly, natural disasters. The secondly, civilization threats related to common model, human vehicle road, and its dysfunctionalities, its weaknesses. And nowadays very popular, terrorist threats, including hybrid threats connected with intentional destructive action of people. Can we move on? ADR agreement was originally dedicated for normal transport conditions, where intentional destructive inference of people into the transport system wasn't considered. And transport procedure included in ADR are adequate for the first and the second groups of threats, but it is much more difficult to counteract against terrorist attacks and protect the dangerous goods against an intentional attack and, in the consequence, activation of destructive properties of these goods. Destructive effects nowadays are most often secondary results of typical road accident caused by human error, road properties, or technical defects. By saying catastrophic consequences, I meant deaths, injuries, material damages, but also is important economic and ecological factor. According to official European statistics, total share of dangerous goods in relation to whole logistics transport in Europe is about 4%. Majority of dangerous goods transported in Europe belongs to class number 2 gases and class number 3 flammable liquids, between 60 to 75% transported mainly in tankers. Rate of road accidents is, in case of dangerous goods, in relation to total amount of total number of road accidents is about 1%, 1.3%, and of course the main threats is related to tankers, between 70 to 75% of all accidents in case in dangerous goods. So we have low probability but big consequences. Let's move on to our country, to Poland. This is the number of vehicles and trucks registered in Poland. This number has been increasing in the last 11 years. And at the same time, a number of road accidents, fatalities, and injuries has been decreasing. Of course, number of fatalities corresponds with number of road accidents. Can you move on? Poland is a leader. It's on the top of the list as regards transport of gases and flammable liquids. If we compare to European Union data, it is on the first, on the second, sometimes on the third place, depending, of course, on the year. But fortunately, so far, number of negative incidents in road transport of dangerous goods is relatively low, and also low is number of fires in road transport with intervention of fire services. This is the red line I can show because probably battery is discharged. Okay. Number of negative events in road transport in relation to total number of road accidents is similar to European Union, between 0.5% to 1.9%, and number of serious road accidents is also relatively low. Go on, okay. In ADR agreement, there are nearly 5,000 types of dangerous goods, but in reality, road reality, total number of types of dangerous goods involved in road accidents in Poland is between 50 to maximum 60. In case of road accidents with fire, there is only limited a few numbers of types, from 0 last year to maximum 8 types of UN's numbers, types of dangerous goods. Move on, please. This is a list of negative road incidents which required the intervention of the National Fire Services. Here on the top we have total number of intervention related to transport of dangerous goods, and here at the bottom we have intervention connected with fuel and petroleum product transport, and it is by the years about 75% of all intervention were connected with fuel transport and gases transport. So all this data, move on, can bring us to the conclusion that the number of vehicles and trucks registered in Poland has been increasing in the last 11 years, but general number of road accidents, fortunately, has been gradually decreasing. Dangerous goods transport in euros is about 4% of whole logistic transport, but accidents involving dangerous goods is disproportionately lower. In case of Poland, 1.1%. So prevention and preparation effectively increase the level of safety, but also legal, organizational, technological solution reduce the number of accidents. Of course, vast majority of transported dangerous goods are fuels, and there are 70% of all road accidents are connected with fuel transport. In practice, no events resulting from the destructive properties of dangerous goods are recorded. Destroying impact of dangerous goods is a secondary side effect of typical traffic accidents. But transport procedures included in ADR convention are adequate only for normal transport conditions, but we have nowadays open armed conflicts. It is a huge challenge for whole logistic transport system. I want to emphasize sensitivity of tankers vehicles. I mean the size, visible markings of the tankers, and limited maneuverability is very, very negative factor. So we need active and passive means of protection of the dangerous goods transport system. I mean effective integrated warning, monitoring, and supervising support system in order to prevent not only against direct attack, for instance, bullet, machine gun, drone attack, but also when potential enemy is anonymous, hidden. So we need modern tools, and this is the best direction that we should follow in the future. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the interesting presentation. I'm sorry we have no time for the discussion. Next presentation it will be Adrina Gilda Lisandro, Transport Economic Development, Nexus, Horizontal and Vertical Intercolorations. I think it will be online presentation. Do you hear me? Is the author connected?
Yes.
Do you hear me? We didn't hear you. Do you see the presentation?
Disconnected now. We have nobody.
No author.
Give me 1 minute.
Okay, so maybe we'll try if we have time at the end of session. So we will skip to the next presentation. The group of authors with the topic Digital Logistic Platform of Azerbaijan, a single window approach to trade, facilitation and digital transformation of transport corridors.
My presentation is about digital logistics platform established in Azerbaijan, which is the moment the first and the only system of such kind in the current countries. Digitalization, digital transformation has become one of the principal drivers of transport and logistics development in the worldwide. In European Union, the digitalization of transport corridors started in 2015 when the European Commission established the Digital Transport and Logistics Forum, DTLF. DTLF expert groups proposed recommendations with key aspects of EU approach, which are as follows: data is exchanged, not documents, standardized data sets and protocols, data to be accepted by authorities as valid source of information of documents, federated networks of platforms, no single centralized solution. Trust is ensured by platform certification. Access is provided to the single source of truth. Information can be accessed in the original certified source. In Eastern Partnership countries, this process also was launched in 2015. And since then, many projects were implemented, and following DTC, the Digital Transport Corridors Multi-Layer Architecture was developed. Here, the first level is technological local level, where all IT systems are located. The second level is national e-logistics systems, and the third level is for connection all national logistics systems to the data pipeline for data exchange. For all transit-oriented countries like Azerbaijan, digitalization has become a strategic necessity. Azerbaijan occupies a strategically important geographical position at the intersection of major transport corridors like North-South Transport Corridor, Middle Corridor, Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railway, which, by the way, fully launched in this month, in June 2. And Azerbaijan has strong commitment and well-structured national plans to succeed in digitalization its DLS. Significant investments have been made in transport and infrastructure, railways, highways, logistics centers, and border crossing facilities. The centralized government structure with the Ministry of Digital Development and Transport on the top helps to consolidate technical and financial resources in order to implement the necessary elements of digital infrastructure and national platforms in accordance with the country strategies. Here you can see TLS development programs adopted in Azerbaijan, and core information systems in TLS have been actively developed and deployed, in particular in the railway, many systems in maritime, in the road transport, in aviation. The decentralized government structure made it possible to establish digital logistics platform, which covers all listed before IT systems and include all government entities such as State Customs Committee, Food Safety Agency, Ministry of Agriculture, Anti-Monopoly Agency, Ministry of Economy, and Ministry of Health. Here you can see digital logistics platform's mission is digitize and integrate all import, export, and transit procedures via a single window platform, eliminating fragmentation across institutions, simplify and accelerate trade operations by automated permits, documents, and inter-agency data exchange, enhance efficiency and trust by providing end-to-end visibility, reducing costs and improving service delivery for business and citizens. And main objective is to improve the efficient use of existing transport and logistics infrastructure. The DLP is an innovative solution designed to function as one-stop shop for managing import, export, and transit operations. And platform consists of 4 main modules: trade guide module, trade services, booking, and reporting module. Trade guide module provides stakeholders with step-by-step information on government requirements and execution stages based on the selected operation type. Trade services module enables users to obtain all necessary documents for foreign economic activities through a single electronic application. The booking module serves as a bridge between cargo owners and carriers, facilitating partnerships based on posted listings and suitable offers. And a reporting module generates detailed analytical reports based on users' operations, supporting data-driven decision-making and providing flexible reporting capabilities for government authorities. The platform operates on a simplified, user-oriented, single-window principle. The DLP clearly defines all responsibilities of each authority, ensures the uninterrupted movement of goods and transport services, aligns border crossing and transport procedures with international standards, and enables the measurement of both the quality and speed of service execution. Here you can see all transport supporting documents that users can obtain through this platform. Different kinds of consignment notes, ESMR, CMR, bill of lading, SNVS, e-permits, and here listed all documents involved in trade operations, and users now can get and will be get through this platform. The trade guide module, one of the platform's main modules, is now ready for use. It provides entities engaged in foreign economic activities with detailed information, including services fees, execution times, and other relevant details during product searches. Trade services module is also launched already this month. Electronic issuance of the phytosanitary certificate, export declaration, and hygienic certificate will soon be available. Currently, business representatives can use the trade guide system for review execution stages for over 7,000 products in import, export, and transit processes. To obtain the Ministry of Agriculture Fumigation Act electronically, vehicle owners now have the opportunity to apply for the e-permit. Participants in foreign economic activity can generate the contract for the international carriage of goods by road via this platform. Here you can see the statistical indicators of operations carried out on the DLP. The digital logistics platform represents a significant milestone in Azerbaijan's digital transformation agenda and trade modernization strategy. By integrating import, export, transit, transport, and logistics services into a unified digital environment, the platform enhances efficiency, transparency, and institutional coordination. And this platform provides an important example of how integrated digital solutions can facilitate trade, improve governance, and create sustainable competitive advantages in the global logistics ecosystem. And how I have already mentioned, this DLP is the first and the only system among the current countries. Thank you for this.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions? Oh,
This systems officially launched 3 days ago in Azerbaijan. It's all new.
okay.
By Ministry Digitalization and Transport Corridor.
Okay, thank you. No questions. So we'll go to the next presentation. The group of authors with the Polish title Integracja oceny ryzyka zawodowego i modelowania kosztów wypadków w operacjach magazynowych, studium przypadku incydentów z udziałem wózka widłowego. Will be present, please. Yes, please. That's a full look. No authors online? They are connected online? No online? Okay. So we'll move for the next presentation. Maluda Muzafarova, assessment of the dependence of sand drift in intensity on atmospheric perception volume. No, we don't have a good one now. This is online, but no. Is online? No. No, no, the presentation is online. Okay. Touching state necessary. Okay. So next. So the last one presentation, Artur Buzyński, Safa Cishar, interpretable machine learning framework for identifying at false participant is in road traffic incidents, a nationwide study from Poland. Anyway, goes somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Artur Buzyński, and together with my colleague from Budapest University of Technology and Economics, I will share you results of my work. I'm an assistant professor in Silesian University, And after last year, when I finished my PhD in, let's say, something like a transport economic, logistic management, I have some skills, some experience in programming in Python and in machine learning models. So I try to find a new challenge for me. And let's say if you work in transport economics, we build something for a business, they make more money. And I would like to find something that would be more motivated for me. So I focus now my job for road safety. Yeah, and I show you my results. Now, to explain what I show you today, it's like a smart part of my like a postdoc job, because it's not possible to show everything. But to describe some basic, I work in cooperation with Polish police, with a central statistic department in main Polish in Warsaw, and I work based on the civic system. It's evidence of collision and accident system. So if you have an accident or collision, and somebody called the police come to the place, it will be recorded in the system. Because if nobody, we have a difference between a collision and an accident. It's accident, you need to call the police, because if anybody is injured or died, you have to call the police. If it's only some material lost, you don't need to call the police. Or if somebody is drunk or is under drugs influence, you have to call the police. Also, if it's not clear who is the perpetrator, you also call the police and they decide. Okay, and I have one big, I think, that limitation, because I speak today about perpetration of the accidents, yeah? But you can imagine that it's perpetrator decided by the police officer, yes? But we are not always sure that it's a true interpretation. We know the cases that somebody would like to get money from the insurance, and when it's difficult geometry of the intersection, he is on a priority line, maybe no brake, no, and speed up to get the money from the collision and insurance system. So we base our research what the police decide. Okay, it's a structure of each incident in Poland. We have data about 8 million of participants. And it's for each participant is participant ID, it's a pedestrian, is no vehicle ID. If somebody is inside a vehicle, there is also a vehicle ID, and all these things I connected to the incident ID. Okay. Also, we have a fourth table, only a perpetrator with reasons of the perpetration. I base my methodology on two systems, like 2 ways. First is severity level, first, and second idea is perpetration of this accident. So today I focus only on perpetration. It's a pipeline of this work. So we have a data set. So I divided into feature like an input X and also output Y. And based on this, I built a forecasting model when we spoke about severity, we have 5 classes of severity. It's no injured, slightly injured, height injured, died in 30 days after accidents, and died on place. So we have 5 categories. And about perpetration, we have a participant can be perpetrator or no perpetrator. I use many classification machine learning models. Today, I use for something like XGBoost classificator, but maybe tomorrow and after 1 year we will different models. Doesn't matter. It's not the most important thing. I built a system. I built an idea to which will be open for each technology which you get for mathematics, informatics, or somebody else. Okay, so like I say, we have a participator, and if he can be a perpetrator or no. Okay, so next when I built a model, I try to interpret it. Yeah, the main thing is I built a prediction model, but in fact, this prediction model is no sense because what it gives you that I predict that if you participate today in the accidents, you are a perpetrator or no. It's no sense. Yeah. Or I built a model to predict something what happened yesterday. It's prediction model without any sense to make a prediction. But what is interesting for me, interpretation of the model. We have a Shapley method based on the theory of game. And based on this method, I can interpret which feature is the most important for this model. So it can be some information for evidence-based recommendation. If we divide this methods and nowadays informatics, we can divide it to software 1, 0, 2, 0, and 3, 0. 1, 0 is some basic easy code, some basic statistic like this, exploratory data analysis. 2, 0 it's a machine learning, and now something new. 3, 0 it's a basic on large language model. It's very promising for me, but know this in this presentation. So we see that it's a gender of the participator. It's not so important here. Age, of course, it's important. I think that we confirm some things. But if you look, maybe young men, a lot of testosterone, energy, and also no experience too much, like young people. So we see that younger men are often perpetrators than women. And we see that it's around age 35, 40. Like me, I'm now 32. I still I get more experience and I'm a little bit boring. Low hormone, etc. And then my point of view, if you get older, your reaction is longer also. So something like the best driver can be around 30, 40. So if you are drunk or under influence of drugs, you are often the perpetrator. It's like I don't discover a new continent now. I think that you suppose that it's a different, but we have a different method. Yeah, somebody is in medicine research. This influence alcohol on your reaction. But its next method, I confirm with the statistic, and in next, I confirm also in the interpretation of machine learning model. So we confirm same things with different methods. So it's one line, and we agree that. Okay, it's some details about which metrics I use, which model, what is cross-validation method to divide it to beta, but if you are not mathematics, I think that it can be a little bit boring for you. So I think that we can move forward. In first step, I try to make some experiment with small testing sample because I have a limited possibilities with computer equipment now. It's a little bit more perpetrator than no perpetrator because maybe it's accident where is more than to drivers. And mostly it's two. It's some metrics, which I use accuracy, precision, recall, F1, rock AOC. And we see what its importance, which feature was the most important. So we know that it's date of birth. So it's what you see in exploratory data analysis, maybe the age. Also, we see that type of accidents can has an impact, vehicle make, and so it's a top feature for this. We see also sharp interpretation for this. So I think that it's confirmed what you see in exploratory data analysis. There is a similar feature has an impact on this. And when we plan next experiment, we can look on this and plan better experiment in the future. Something about limitation, like you see, it's perpetration, like what we get from the police, so it's limited from the beginning. About this this line, perpetration compared to injury level. I like methods which is actual published with contractual methods. So one good sample is contractual for children, which we know that children is in child baby seat and has safety. So I can make a contractual and I made it. What happened if this children has no baby chair, and what happened if this accident has this baby chair? Yeah. And we know from mechanics and like physics that it's baby chair, it's safety, and we know it. But this method also confirms it. This line with severity level has much better possibilities to make contractual. Because let's say that I would like to make a contractual. What happened if a driver was drunk and no drunk, contractual, yeah? But according to the philosophy, maybe if you speak about the baby chair, it's no impact for a driver to happen this collision, this accident, yes or no. Yeah, it's not impact for the driver. So we can imagine, but this same accident can happen, and we can research this difference. But if I make a contractual for a driver and severity level, drunk or no, it can be not true, because if driver would be not drunk, no under drug influence, maybe accident will happen. So we cannot check severity level. So it will be logistic false. About future research, maybe I can invite you to cooperation with me. I start cooperation with Csaba Cisza from Budapest University of Technology and Economics, because I get also a data now from Hungary. So we build a cross-border models. I do now the same with my Romania colleagues, Italy colleagues, and I hope that maybe we build together European system and some cross-border. So if you have idea how it works in your country, you can write to me an email when we make together research and something bigger together, maybe some Horizon project. I dream about this. I hope in future. I think that everything we would like to say today. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question.
Okay.
Oh, I try new things. Linktree, maybe if you scan the QR code, probably you see my LinkedIn research, you get something like this also. You can test it if you want, because I tried it first time.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Take more time for questions after the session. I have information that we have one participant online. Alina, Lisandro, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I was connecting to the other session, and now I realized that I must be with e-session. Sorry for this.
Okay.
So my paper is related to the nexus of transport economic development.
Do you see the presentation?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
so if you want to next slide, please start the presentation.
Yeah, I will start the presentation. Thank you. So you can go to the next slide, please. So I will explain a bit what is behind this paper. This paper started from the fact that during pandemics, a lot of correlations were different from what we knew traditionally related to the link between transport, trade, and economic development. And that's why I consider it's important to collect data. I used Eurostat data, and I used also DCC GARH models using MATLAB. So I took some series of data related to transport, related to trade, and related to development, mainly GDPR in development. And the conclusions were quite interesting and related to the fact that we are living in a world of extreme volatile interactions, and also that the fact that transport and trade are requested to be very performant, to be just in time, to use lean logistics. It can be a help for our economies, but also it can be a very volatile aspect which can increase our dependency on factors which maybe we didn't think we will become dependent on. So this is all behind my let's say creation of this paper. And I will present you very briefly. You can go to the next slide, please. So it's what literature review. Here it's the fact that I explained that the basis of my paper is the model created by Engel in 2002 related to the dynamic conditional correlations and using multivariate econometric tools. And also using this model, we can see that the generalized autoregressive data can vary in a way that residuals or errors are not constant. So shocks such as pandemics, geopolitical disruptions, or supply chain bottlenecks can produce correlations and trade variables which are tightly together under stress. You can go to the next slide, please. So also constraint in our economies is seen it's in the demands, the constant demands of reducing the carbon consumption. And maybe you can go to other slides because I want to shorten a bit the presentation.
Please go faster because we will change time the presentation and we haven't so much time.
Yeah. I want to just to emphasize that at the European Union level, there is let's say a strategy to develop until 2030, 2050, to develop in all the European countries let's say an environment free of carbon as much as possible, and introducing some aspects emphasizing the fact that it's very important to develop more other ways of transport instead of traditional ways of transport. So maybe focusing more on water transport now in our days, and maybe focusing more in rail transport in a way which the decarbonization will be much more obvious. And I will emphasize also that I took data from the different types of transport and their importance in the economy of the European Union countries. And of course, there are a lot of differences between how these countries are developed through time. And it's important that if they came from a history of gross domestic product with good evolutions, they were able to invest more in new types of transport. I think the main idea of the paper is that the links between trade, transport, and development are much more subtle than we can see at a simple, let's say, simply applying econometric models. And in order to make us more resilient in front of volatility and in front of the changes of the environment where we live, it is recommended to enhance multimodal integration within the countries in the European Union, and develop transport corridors maybe for unconventional, untraditional way of transport, focus more and develop more peripheral regions, because it is not only important to develop a region taking into account economic KPIs, but also to take into consideration...
I'm sorry, please skip to the conclusion because we have no time.
Yeah, sorry. So the conclusion is that if we take into consideration the models we used, we can see that the links between the trade, transport, and development is stable in normal growth periods. It's a covariance between 0.3, 0.6, but in time of pandemics, in times of crisis, political crisis, we can face a very strong volatility, and the dependence between trade, transport, and development can be approximative very high till 1. So This was the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
And the last presentation of this session, Mr. Michał Połęga, please. Floor is yours.
Szanowni Państwo, będę mówił krótko, bo to ostatnia prezentacja. Ja nazywam się Artur Kwasek, reprezentuję zespół składający się z interdyscyplinarnego teamu z Politechniki Warszawskiej, Magdalena Chryniewicka pracuje na Uniwersytecie Kardynała Stefana Wyszyńskiego, a ja reprezentuję Społeczną Akademię Nauk. Proszę Państwa, kiedy po raz pierwszy usłyszałem, że mam wziąć udział w tym projekcie, to troszkę się przeraziłem. Co prawda prowadzę zajęcia online'owe z BHP dla kilku tysięcy studentów każdego roku, ale w jaki sposób badać, jakie to ma skutki dla realizacji tego typu przedsięwzięć, wydawało mi się to karkołomne i prawie niemożliwe. Żyjemy w takich czasach, kiedy dynamiczne zmiany są tak ogromne, a wszyscy szukają optymalizacji kosztów, szukają optymalizacji procesów, które realizują, że trzeba było znaleźć metodę na to, aby również tam, gdzie wydawać by się mogło, że to nie ma większego sensu, można było tych efektów ekonomicznych poszukać. Zrobiliśmy na początku przegląd literatury i okazało się, że w przeglądzie literatury nie ma podejścia interdyscyplinarnego, nie ma podejścia zintegrowanego. Raczej się pisze raz o tych wypadkach, analizuje się wypadki, przyczyny, albo analizuje się zagadnienia ergonomii, albo są to tylko ekonomiczne skutki różnych zdarzeń niepożądanych. My postanowiliśmy połączyć te zagadnienia w jedną całość, właśnie w taki sposób, aby pokazać, iż analizując przyczyny zdarzeń niepożądanych i badając, jaki to ma skutek ekonomiczny, abyśmy znaleźli metodę oceny ilościowej, a nie tylko jakościowej tych zdarzeń. Celem niniejszego raportu była ocena ryzyka zawodowego na stanowisku magazyniera oraz analiza ekonomiczna strat, które wynikają z zdarzeń niepożądanych. W pracy dokonano identyfikacji zagrożeń występujących na stanowisku pracy. Wykorzystano tutaj metodę ilościową Research Score, a następnie opracowano te ekonomiczne koszty z wykorzystaniem bardzo popularnych, znanych wskaźników Return on Investment oraz Payback, czyli okres zwrotu oraz wskaźnik rentowności inwestycji. Postawiliśmy na początku hipotezy oraz pytania badawcze. Pytania badawcze zakładały, że zagrożenia występujące w środowisku magazynowym generują najwyższe skumulowane poziomy ryzyka zawodowego oraz pytanie, jaki jest wymiar ekonomicznych incydentów występujących w środowisku magazynowym, obejmującym koszty bezpośrednie i koszty pośrednie. Na tej podstawie sformułowano hipotezy, założono, że zagrożenia związane z użytkowaniem pojazdów użytku wewnętrznego stanowią dominujący składnik całości ryzyka. Przyjęto również, że koszty niebezpośrednie oraz koszty pośrednie stanowią istotny element oceny efektywności ekonomicznej. No i wreszcie założono, że inwestycje w poprawę bezpieczeństwa przyniesie wymierne skutki ekonomiczne. Analizując przyczyny, dla których zachodzą wypadki w środowisku magazynowym, można przyjąć, że są to takie zdarzenia niepożądane, które wynikają najczęściej z nieuwagi, z zdarzeń potrącenia przez wózki. To są zdarzenia wynikające, takie ludzkie, wynikające z poślizgnięcia, z pracy, z tego, iż pracownicy są przeciążeni. Również są to kwestie organizacyjne i na tej podstawie postanowiliśmy, że zidentyfikujemy, jakie to będą zdarzenia, które weźmiemy pod uwagę przy naszej analizie. Miejscem badania była firma działająca w branży FMCG, był to magazyn, który pracuje 24 godziny na dobę. Totalna powierzchnia była 12 000 metrów kwadratowych i jeszcze kilka innych szczegółowych aspektów tej analizy. Przechodząc już do konkretów, ta tabela prezentuje, które poddano analizie potencjalne skutki zdarzeń niepożądanych. Była to ocena w której badaliśmy zdarzenia losowe, a następnie na tej podstawie stworzyliśmy wzór, który będzie obliczał, jak na podstawie prawdopodobieństwa oraz na podstawie ilości tych zdarzeń losowych, jakie są potencjalne skutki ekonomiczne. Tutaj widzimy wzór na return on investment, tutaj widzimy wzór na payback, ale najważniejsze są rezultaty. Rezultaty naszych badań wskazują, iż poziom ryzyka z konsekwencjami finansowymi pozwoliło na bardziej obiektywną ocenę priorytetów w zakresie działań prewencyjnych, ponieważ średni koszt pojedynczego incydentu został oszacowany na 16 000 euro, natomiast założenia, że będą to 3 zdarzenia, było to już ponad 50 000 euro. Wdrażając proste rozwiązania, takie jak kamery cofania, czujniki antykolizyjne, zabezpieczenie regałów, ta inwestycja kosztowała 18 300 euro i pozwoliło na uzyskanie efektu zwrotu z inwestycji na poziomie 77%. Natomiast okres zwrotu inwestycji oszacowaliśmy już na pół roku. I to są nasze najważniejsze wnioski wynikające z naszych badań. Dziękuję za uwagę.
Dziękuję bardzo for presentation. Thank you for all presenters, for all participants of this session. We are ending this session, and now we have the excursion for the Poznański Family Palace. Thank you.